Hello, here we are on day 8 of my October Horror Movie Marathon Fest, and today I watched Near Dark on Blu-ray. Near Dark is from 1987, I believe. Yes, there it is. And let's see, where to go? Okay, so this movie was written by Kathryn Bigelow and Eric Red, and it was directed by Kathryn Bigelow. Little trivia, Eric Red, among other things, wrote The Hitcher, one of my favorite movies. If you've never seen the original version of The Hitcher, you've got to see it. It's fantastic. Kathryn Bigelow went on to direct such movies as Point Break, Zero Dark 30, and The Hurt Locker, for which she won a Best Directing Oscar. So, not too shabby there. It's a good pedigree. All right, so the movie stars Adrian Pasdar, Jenny Wright, Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton, Jennifer Goldstein, Tim Thomerson, Joshua Miller. There's your main people. A wonderful cast. Always love Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen and Tim Thomerson. Adrian Pasdar's always good. He was in the criminally underrated TV show Prophet, another thing that you should check out if you've never seen it. It was an amazing show. I think it was ahead of its time. So anyway, Near Dark. It's a vampire flick. For those of you who know me, I'm not a huge fan of vampires, but this, I'd say, is my favorite vampire movie. And it's about Caleb, a young gentleman. Can you hear all those weird noises going off, notifications and such? Anyway, Caleb, played by Adrian Pasdar, is just a young cowpoke type guy in Oklahoma, and he meets May, who's played by Jenny Wright, and she bites him on the neck, and he starts burning up in daylight, and can't eat normal food. You see where I'm going with this? So Caleb goes off with May and her sort of extended vampire family. Tim Thomerson plays Caleb's dad, and Caleb has a younger sister named Sarah, and Dad and Sarah take off searching for Caleb because they don't know what happened to him. They did kind of see him get kidnapped, so they're looking for him. And that sets the stage for this amazing film. I absolutely love this movie. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of vampires. There are some vampire novels I love, very few vampire movies that I love. But this is absolutely one of them. I'm going to say there's no supernatural element to this at all. There's no shape-shifting. There's no religious iconography. It would seem simply that vampirism is a virus. Because as I said, Caleb gets bitten, and it's not long. I mean, it's no time at all, really, before the sun comes up and he's trying to get home and he's starting to smoke and everything. So it just seems like a really quick infection. Like I said, there's I suppose it's possible crosses could have an effect, but it never comes into play. And I think on the revolver that Bill Paxton has, I think there's a cross on the handle, on the grip, and it doesn't seem to affect him. So really, I was going to say scientific, but there's no actual discussion of what this is. As a matter of fact, they never say vampires. It's just an infection that makes you require blood to stay alive, and you burn up in the sunlight. And that's basically it. It's kind of bare bones that way. But just great performances. As I said, I love the cast. I always love Lance Henriksen. Joshua Miller plays a child vampire. It does a great job, and he's a vampire trapped in a child's body. So he's been around for a long time. And they call him Old Man on occasion, except that, again, he's in a kid's body, which really bothers him because, you know, it's the mind of an adult, a very, very old adult in a kid's body, which you might think is good, but you're kind of stuck. There are things you can't do as a kid. Although, I mean, he's a vampire, so he can pretty much do what he wants, but he can't walk into a bar and order a drink. And speaking of bars, the bar scene in this movie is always one of my favorites. And the motel scene, the motel showdown, is really, really cool. Just a lot of really good stuff in here. As I said, well acted, well directed, well written. Some beautiful shots, sort of iconic imagery. Just well composed, as they say. So, I mean, that's basically it. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to give anything away. It's a movie. If you have not seen this, you should watch this movie. It's just fantastic. It does have very 1987 music in it. The soundtrack is by Tangerine Dream. I'm sure some of you know what that means. But it's near dark. It's near dark. That's all I have to say at this point. I give it 9.5 out of 10 Spurs. And if you want to know why Spurs, you got to watch the movie. I mean, if you're a horror fan, it's hard to imagine that you haven't seen this, unless you're younger, of the younger generation. You kids today, you know, it's possible some people haven't found this yet. More notification noises. Look at those beautiful people, Adrian Pasdar and Jenny Wright. Watch it. Fantastic movie. So that's it for day 8 of my October Horror Movie Marathon Fest. I'll have a link for the trailer up there somewhere. And that's all I've got today, and I'll see you tomorrow.